Hi, this is 1010 the Navigator, and this is the 2022 Anunnaki Code, The End of the World and Their Return to Earth by Maximilien de Lafayette. And I just want to let you all know that I am reading these chapters. If you haven't watched the first video, I'm not going ahead in the book. I'm not re-recording. This is just me doing this raw from scratch. So I'm hearing this this is new for me. I'm going to struggle with some of the words, and I appreciate your patience. So today it's chapter 35, question 35. I think most of you have been waiting for this. What will happen in 2022 when the Anunnaki return? The answer: many things at so many levels: physical, spiritual, mental, multidimensional, vibrational, intellectual, and religious. As mentioned in a previous question, the Anunnaki are returning in 2022 to clean the earth. This will happen through a cataclysmic event, the like of which can hardly even be imagined by us. But it is child play to the Anunnaki, who have done it all before on other planets, many times. The procedure will take a very short time, only a few minutes, but is, as always, elaborately and securely planned by the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki will bring a bubble of a special substance resembling antimatter, but not destructive, and cause it to touch the Earth's atmosphere. It will be exactly the size of Earth. As soon as the two globes touch, all the humans that have been lucky enough not to be contaminated by Gray's DNA, and all the animals, plants, and those inanimate material which the Anunnaki wish to preserve, such as beautiful and historic monuments, art-filled museums, and great libraries, in addition to the homes of those saved, will be stripped from the earth and absorbed into the bubble. The fish and the other animals who need water will be taken to a created ocean within the bubble. The birds will have plenty of places to perch on. Nothing will be hurt or damaged. The humans and animals will feel nothing. They will be secure within the bubble. It is unlikely that they will even retain a clear memory of the event because the Anunnaki would not wish them to be traumatized. Then the earth will be cleaned of all our pollution, for lack of a better description. Try to imagine a huge vacuum cleaner removing all the landfills, eliminating all the plastics, all the dirt, all the smog from the air, and all the filth from the ocean. In a few short minutes, the earth will be sparkling clean, a pristine planet, the way it was when the Anunnaki had first created it. However, they dispose of the garbage. How they dispose of the garbage is not clear to us. It involves a very high technology, which we simply do not as of yet understand. The beautiful, clean planet is now ready to be repopulated, and in an instant, the humans, animals, plants, and inanimate objects would be returned to Earth. Anunnaki guides will be there for the humans, who would naturally need quite a bit of help to adjust to the new life. In the meantime, the issue of the rest of humanity is resolved as well. As mentioned in previous questions, there are three groups of humans the Anunnaki will attend to. Those who are not contaminated have already been taken back to the clean planet. Those who are heavily contaminated and who are engaging in cruelty, greed, and violence for their own gain have no chance at all. They will simply be destroyed, and there is no need to even think about them any further. What is left are those who are the medium level of contamination and the lighter level. These groups have received a warning to mend their lives 14 years before the event of 2022. Some of the people of light level contamination would have completely cleaned themselves through their efforts and therefore would have been transformed as clean beings into the bubble. Others had remained lightly contaminated. Those of medium level contamination, who obviously require more work, would be divided into those who had succeeded in the cleaning and had brought themselves into a light level contamination. Those who remain medium level, who did not do the work of cleaning properly, will be destroyed with the heavily contaminated ones. All that remains now is the group of light contamination level, and if they wish to save themselves, they must go through the Ba'abas, or stargates into other dimensions, so that they could be evaluated by the Anunnaki. If they can be cleaned, they go back to Earth. If not, they will live out their lives in another dimension where conditions are much like their own Earth before the cleaning. They will lead a normal life, but will not be able to reproduce, so eventually they will die out. As for those who go through the Ba'abs, they produce. The procedure is extremely difficult. Ba'abs exist everywhere. There are huge, magnificent Ba'abs that are used regularly by the Anunnaki to cross from one dimension to another. But there are also small ones located in the street, in a tree, in an apartment building, in your home, you name it. They will become visible when the bubble clashes with the earth, and those who were not taken into the bubble or were not destroyed must find their way into a Ba'ab. All Ba'abs look the same. They are a circle of shifting light of rainbow colors, very clearly defined. People wishing to enter a Ba'ab must hurl themselves against it, and it will open and absorb any number of travelers. As soon as you enter the Ba'ab, you are already in another dimension. It is extremely frightening, a deep blackness illuminated by explosions, thunderbolts, and shrieking comets. There is a very high level of a stormy, whoosh-like sound. The noise can be deafening, and the traveler is swept with violent speed forward, unable to resist or help the move, and consistently twirled and twisted into one direction and then the other. The traveler will feel dizzy, disoriented, and scared, and this lasts for an indefinite amount of time. When this part is over, the traveler is thrown by a huge gust of wind into a tunnel, which is so brightly lit by orange, yellow, and white light, it is impossible to keep one's eyes open for more than a few seconds at a time. The traveler hears horrible shrieks, screams, and howling of wind, and when the eyes are open, he or she sees bizarre faces, weird creatures, and unknown vehicles, which always seem almost on the verge of colliding with the traveler, but somehow never do. After a while, the traveler is thrown out of the tunnel into solid ground, which may be quite painful, but not permanently harmful. The light becomes normal, and the sounds stop. At that point, the travelers have reached their destination. It looks much like Earth, but it is empty of people or animals and plants and houses that looks very dim, as if the traveler found himself in virtual reality. Then the traveler begins to see people materialize against the cardboard-like background. This takes time. The images of people float as if from thin air, but then all of a sudden reality shifts and the traveler finds themselves in a real world. The animals, incidentally, will never materialize. All of them have been returned to Earth, to their proper places as mentioned before. They are not needed here, since no animal labor or eating of animals is permitted by the Anunnaki, who abhor such practices. In this dimension, the travelers will meet a few Anunnaki who will direct them to their evaluation and possible cleaning. We do not know how this procedure works, and in truth, it does not matter very much, since only those who made it would be returned to Earth. Those who cannot be cleaned will be sent through the Ba'abab to the dimension we have mentioned before, where they will live out their lives, but will not be able to reproduce. The Anunnaki do not wish to kill them, since they are not inherently evil like the heavily contaminated ones, but they cannot let them reproduce the bad DNA. The Anunnaki do not indulge in sentimental pity and are fully aware that any form of evil should not be allowed to exist. And this concludes chapter 35.